4 presents The Family That Slays Together, Stays Together, Part 1.
This is Gary Butterfield.
This is Cole Ross.
And we're at the beginning of the end again.
Hey, Gary. Gross Point Hank.
Not bad. I haven't seen Gross Point Blank.
No? Oh, it's good. It's a good movie. that's the long and short of it.
So whatever the reference is, unless it was just the rhyme. But if this plot is similar to a Gross Point Blank.
Oh, it's the Assassins. I called it that because the Assassins.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah. I always get that confused with, what are they called? The Boondock Saints?
Yeah. Gross Point Blank is a much better movie than Boondock Saints.
Are you kidding?
Such a thing exists.
Yeah. I believe you.
Yeah.
Because I ended up watching Boondock Saints for the first time in 2019.
Okay.
And I was like, what is all the fuss about, man? I'm like, this is kind of interesting.
It was a different time. Like, I watched it when I was in my real deep Fight Club phase, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of its own. I'm so sick of people pretending Norman Reedus is incredible. I'm done with that. He's fine.
Yeah.
But you're all out of your mind. Yeah, Kojima, if you're listening, that's real weird.
I don't think Hideo Kojima's listening anymore. I think you may have alienated Hideo Kojima, creator of Metal Gear Solid.
He listened for the first 8 years.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know what? Gary's not going to come around.
They just got too negative is the thing.
I'm just going to double down on all my impulses. Sick of trying to please that fat fuck. Yeah, we're talking about the first part of the finale. We're doing it as 2 episodes because this is weirdly bifurcated.
Yeah. Different tones. I mean, this feels a little bit extraneous to the overall change that is being made, you know?
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. I also, in watching it again, I think that this episode is more fun than the next one.
Oh yeah.
This is really fun and funny and good action and stuff. I find this episode to be a pure joy. The finale is a little slopsy, which I didn't really remember, but it's a little contrived.
Yeah.
There's a lot of contrived things that happen in it, and I know that's criticizing a goofy cartoon.
Yeah.
For something serious, but it's not my favorite finale.
Yeah. This has to get a lot of points, just because this is a real return to form for Brock.
Oh, sure. And just Brock highlight. And this episode specifically, this first half introduces, Shore Leave and Sky Pilot, going to show up as the, as a prominent part in season 4, sets up a lot of great Brock.
Yes.
Stuff. Crocodile. Yeah. I love those characters so much, and just having them they're cemented. They will be around.
Yep.
I understand it's not their intro, but them being reintroduced to the cast.
Yeah. So this was written by Doc Hammer and Jackson Public, as most of the premieres and finales are, and originally aired on August the 17th of 2008.
Mm-hmm. And this is about how Brock leaves his assignment. This is a show that fucks with the status quo. We talked about that. It does not reset like most TV shows, most syndicated, cartoons do. Brock is going to no longer be the Venture Brothers bodyguard, at the end of this.
Yeah.
And it's a huge deal.
It is. Yeah.
This is because the OSI, he believes the USI are burning him and kind of sending these assassins after him to clean him up. We're going to learn more about that, but that is the initial premise of this. Last episode, where his car tried to kill him, was the hint.
Yeah.
The OSI has turned against him.
Yes.
You might think because of orb reasons, but nope.
Nope.
We won't think about that for another season and then never again.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So the concept of this episode, where these, various themed assassins come after Brock, this had been a concept that Public had in his back pocket for a little while. The initial versions of this that kind of, cropped up in his notebook, this was going to be more centered on Brock and Molotov Cocktease's past with each other, kind of where they met at the Olympics. And
there's not a whole lot of that.
No.
But I will say, There are a few things as fun as a colorful squad of assassins.
It's pretty good, which makes it kind of baffling that Smoke and Aces is as bad of a movie as it is.
It's very surprising, you know.
You have everything going for it, but you hang it on Jeremy Piven. You fucks.
Yeah, that's not a load-bearing Piven. What is that? There's the Seven Psychopaths. Mm-hmm. You know, do you know that movie?
No.
That's another like bunch of assassins movie that's pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
You run into a little bit of this with John Wick.
Yeah.
You know, where he's like going and all these themed assassins, like the king of the homeless people.
Yeah.
You know, and all this stuff. I love a bunch of assassins.
Yes.
You know, what a cool job.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it is killing people.
Yeah, what a cool job. Yeah. It is the you know, I'm really glad they made a video game out of it. Yeah.
So you could sublimate those impulses.
Yeah. It is. I mean, most video games are just pretending to do crimes.
Yeah.
You know, it's very hard to think of video games where you don't do a crime.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have the right to cut down a tree all the way across from your fucking house in Animal Crossing?
Nope.
Probably not. You know, you don't own the neighborhood.
Nobody stops you, but it's not a good thing to do.
Yeah, I cannot think of a crimeless video game right now.
Mm-hmm.
All video games are crimes.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say Police Quest, but you're probably doing dirty shit in there too. Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing moral crimes if you're not doing legal crimes in that.
Yeah.
We're going to focus on this setup, on this fun action-packed episode. Most of the big plot stuff that sets up the next season is in part 2, and we're going to talk about that next week.
Yeah, and that's the majority of what the art book and the commentary are kind of focused on.
Yes, unsurprisingly.
Yes.
But I think there's stuff in this first part that is worth its time in court on its own.
Yeah.
So let's get into it.
Mm-hmm. We pick up where we left off, or shortly after. We don't see Brock actually subduing his car.
But they decide not to animate the car fight.
Yes. But we kind of cut in on Brock furiously banging on the ripped apart chassis of his car, sobbing as he does. I mean, he's killed his best friend. He loves this car.
Him giving up family is a theme.
Yes.
Here. The boys walk in, they notice this, you know, Hank is like, why did you kill the Mayhem Mobile? And Brock, you know, Adrian's the car's name. Mm-hmm. Dean thought it was Danger Hawk. I don't know where they got that from. Any of that. And Brock is overwhelmed, you know, just give me a minute, like walking away. Boys, Rusty's a real dick.
Yeah.
During these episodes.
Thinking's new to him. Hey, you rely on him. He's your buddy, dude.
He'd be dead so many times over without his thinking, you know? Brock comes to, though. He starts shouting out orders like, get dressed, be in the X1 in 2 minutes. Help her prep the plane. This is one of my favorite jokes in this. Or helper backs away and makes a little scared meep, and then goes into combat mode.
Yeah, just nothing but spinning blades and guns pointed out.
They call it like he must think he's next. And Hank's saying he often speaks of the coming war between man and the Brotherhood of Machines.
Which is like, oh, the robots are going to turn on us. That's kind of a hack idea, and even by that time, it kind of was. But the delivery sells it, and also the fact that it's helper. Yeah. Well, Hank knows it. He speaks about it so solemnly, and just helper, in his beeps. This feels like a cousin of him quoting Maya Angelou.
Yeah, it's very cute.
Yeah, the depths, the hidden depths of helper.
Yeah, these are good Helper episodes, actually. Brock puts down the wrench and Helper comes and gives him a sweet hug. However, all this time, they ran out of time with all this shtick. They're going to take the X1 to Spider Skull Island because dangerous men are on their way. Rusty says, hey, they've been trying to kill me since I learned to be standing up. And Brock goes, they're not coming after you, they're coming after me.
Mm-hmm. They think, hey, it's here because a helicopter descends into the open hangar and they're surrounded by these female assassins. But they are led by Molotov Cocktease, who drops down. These are the black hearts. And she says, card shribble.
Yep. Joan Jett reference. Joan Jett and the Black Hearts.
Yep.
So we cut over, there's our little title screen. We cut over to the Moppets riding their scooters ahead of the Monarch Mobile. Our central Monarch crew is heading to the Venture compound. And they decide not to take the cocoon because they want to surprise them. But the downside of this is that 21 needs to pee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they do some shtick around this.
Yes. 21 does not want to pee in a cup, but they can't pull over at a gas station because he would have to change. I love the line. Whenever I wear this in public, people ask me what band I'm in.
Yeah. And 24 is going to get a slushy.
Yes.
Very cute. Monarch does not want to stop because he's hyped up. Because of that, family clause, he's able to take revenge on Jonas Jr. by taking out Rusty Venture.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got his murder boner on. Yeah. So 21 does accede to their demands and starts peeing in the cup. Or tries to.
But there's a vice around his ding dong because they keep talking.
He's pee shy. Relatable.
Yeah.
And I love the Monarch's line. Oh, he won't expect this. He was talking to Dr. Mrs. the Monarch. You and your two best men, me and my men.
Yeah. He's interrupted by Sergeant Hatred flying the hover tank towards them. His actual arch enemy who's not been in the season very much.
Yes. Yeah. So we're going to get a villain collision here.
Yeah. Brock is loading up his luggage, kind of doing his verbal sparring with Molotov, basically, saying like, hey, the OSI turned on me and you're not exactly on their it list. She says, no, who do you think they tried to hire? But it turns out she did not take the job. She doesn't want to share. They hired 3 assassins at there. And we get these little trading card dossiers on these 3 assassins.
Yeah.
These are old ideas that Jackson Public had kicking around from the Tick. Days, and they feel like it.
I mean, Air Trigger is incredibly good, but very ticky. Yeah.
And Go-Fish is incredibly like the Tick.
Yes.
Here. So Heinrich Triggermensch is a really good name, aka Air Trigger. Looks like the monster Klaus Kinsey, who is a sexual sharpshooter.
He is a weapons fetishist. We get a lot of tongue action from Air Trigger.
He's constantly licking his guns and just gyrating. The animation is very funny on this guy.
Anytime you get that hyper detailed animation on this to convey it, it is always uncanny and funny.
Very good.
We got Russell Sturgeon, aka Go Fish. He's a scar-faced mariner, modeled after what's his name, grizzled fisherman from Jaws.
Quint.
Quint.
Quint or one of the other ones. I can't remember the names of them in Jaws.
It's a dog eyes. Yeah. Robert Shaw, I think. But he is Hawkeye, but with fishing lures instead of arrows. So he just has a hat that is covered with fishing lures, and each of them has like little gimmicky purposes.
Very specific.
Yeah.
And then Jean-Claude Latour, who has no code name because of his ego, he collects rare weapons and Silver Age comic books. This is a Kraven the Hunter knockoff, which we'll find out later. Right now, we do not know that he is Kraven the Hunter.
Of course. Yeah. So Hunter confirms that Molotov is telling the truth by going to just like Hermols say, hey, the OSI's burned you. And Brock goes to meet Hunter at Nightingale's, and Hunter confirms all of it, saying, hey, what do you think happened to me? Welcome out to the cold, basically.
Yeah. This whole scene where he's doing the lap dance and also getting the stuff is very funny to me.
Yeah.
I understand all of the gender stuff wrapped up in Hunter. As Brock, right, with like your father figure.
Yeah.
Who's, like, get the keys. You're not going to like looking for them. Just like digging around in his crotch. It's like some of that stuff, right? At the same time, like I have nothing against gay people. I love gay people. I don't want to dig around anybody's crotch.
Regardless. In public?
Yeah. Like I still think it's pretty funny to be like, you're not going to like looking for him.
Yeah.
Now tip me, like all of that stuff. And the facial work on Brock's face is really good. It's not the same kind of like, isn't Dr. Girlfriend a man? Like it's not that kind of stuff. It's more just like, I don't know, man. It would be weird to me Like if anybody I knew, even if they had not transitioned, were just like, here, dig around my crotch for these spy things.
Yeah, why can't we just talk like colleagues? This is weird.
Yeah, you take a break.
Yeah.
You know, it's a like the awkwardness of this situation makes me laugh a lot, and I understand there's other stuff wrapped up in it, but
Yeah.
it gets me.
Yeah, it probably rides the line when Rusty comes up and hits on Hunter. But I love Hunter's reaction. Piss off, you horrible buzzard. Tsetse fly, buzz.
He kicks him in the throat.
Yeah.
Where he like punches him in the throat. So good. And then Rusty's obliviousness. You know, just like, aren't you going to introduce me with his red mocha cooler? Yeah, Rusty's so horrible, and this is very funny.
But we have Air Trigger outside, looking down on this as they walk out. Hunter is extremely mad at Brock because he parked the X1 outside of this tiny little nowhere strip club. Again, wonderful line. Who taught you how to be a spy? Fucking Gallagher.
Yeah, you actually
any kind of Gallagher reference, I'm kind of down for.
Yeah. Yep. So he says, like, I'm gonna give him a lap dance. You know, tip me. Now get handsy. You know, and slaps him. And what he's doing is he's digging out a false identity. His new name, his new passport, has Jesus Tralfez. You live in Pueblo, Colorado. You sell aluminum siding, and you love the History Channel. Really good.
Yep. And Hunter has a list of friendly contacts in their bra. And says, hey, you know, Brock is not going to like looking for the car keys. So you're going to get everything you need, but, you know, it has to be wrapped up in this, in this subterfuge. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Less, more metaphorical than I was going to say.
Yes.
We cut over to the Monarch crew breaking in. I don't like this joke that 21 and 24 went through the septic system for no reason. This should have been cut. That's dumb. But the Monarch calls a huddle and gives everyone their assignment. I really love this. Moppets, you go subdue the boys. Like, subdue them with a knife. No, subdue. And then Mrs. Monarch being like, and I seduce. Brock,
subdue. Dr. Girlfriends, Dr. Mrs. the Monarch's continuing grudge against Brock for not wanting to sleep with her is very funny to me. One of my favorite little scenes in this is where she's like adjusting herself, like waiting for him. I think that's like a very like human scene. Yeah. It's like, and like that doesn't get as much like credit or play as the joke where, you know, Rusty obliviously thinks that they're an item because of Charlene, but it is way funnier that, because we have this normally entirely with a character on her back foot, you know, holding this petty grudge against somebody. It's very funny.
Even if it's because Brock can't let go of, you know, the kind of shitty trans stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, that he's on. Like, I mean, come on, man. Like, you're sincerely not going to have sex with Dr. Girlfriend. It's the hottest piece of ass in supervillainy. Like, I wouldn't know what to do with her. It'd be embarrassing. Like, it would be, you know, over before it began, and then I would just be like trying to like, you know, I would be, Javier.
I'd be apologizing in the middle of it. Yeah.
Yeah, like I would have to switch continents. Like this, I would become one of the boys from Brazil in order to avoid the shame of how quick on the air trigger I would be with Dr. Girlfriend and how unlikely I would be to satisfy a woman of that pedigree. So the 24 is going to get helper. 21 is supposed to keep an eye out for Sergeant Hadra, but he needs to pee. So he's going to go do that.
Yes.
So Air Trigger, who's like licking and gyrating and humping his gun, levels it at the bar sign, but then up in his sights, Brock appears and punches him and starts beating him. He does the Lassie thing. You know, he's like, you guys go in the X1, get to Spire Skull Island. I'm going to go in the car. And the boys are like, no, we're a family. Like, we love each other. And Brock's like, I don't love you boys. It was just a job. Now that it's over, you're just getting in my way. And it's very sad. Yeah. You know? I'm glad that the show underlines it immediately. You know, the characters are genre savvy for this.
Yep. Because Hank's in the car with him. Seriously, Brock, the Lassie trick? Was I born yesterday? And I like this because it's establishing, like, we've known that Hank really likes and looks up to Brock, but that's going to be a real thing in the next season. Hank being the one who sticks around with them and just kind of insists, like, no, I know you love us. Come on, bud. You know, we're on the team. I think it's very sweet.
Yeah, you'll flash back to Dean being like, "I know Brock loves you." He's yeah. Air Trigger did not die. He's chasing them with an Uzi, and we get like a not very joke heavy action scene that is actually like really competent as an action scene. Like this episode has the most like fun cartoon action of the series so far.
Yeah,
I think. It's really cute. Like Brock is radioing Rusty. Did you forget something? You forgot your son. He has him do a seatbelt so he doesn't end up like Gary Busey. A little cheap Gary Busey joke. But there's like all these cool little spy things in Hunter's car. Where he like activates the forward guns and shoots the back of a station wagon, which I love. Like, sorry,
just lights up an older couple.
And then the oil slick where Air Trigger is like riding between it, so he doesn't get. It felt like a cool video game.
Yeah,
to me.
Yeah, very good spy action stuff. Air Trigger, turning that against him, lighting it on fire. Here's this. And then just this amazing turnaround, right? Like literal, because Brock says, "Hey Hank, put on your seatbelt," and he launches Hank's ejector seat so the X1 can pick him up, and then he flips the car around into the 180 to turn on the front-facing water jets, putting out the fire and plowing straight into Air Trigger's motorcycle, just in time for Hank's seat to land back in the car backwards.
So good. X1 lands and he pops into it. Air Trigger, surrounded by fire, but he's still alive. He pulls out a rocket launcher. It doesn't matter where he's keeping that because again, we're in pure Marvel Comics action mode. Hits the X1, knocking it down. Brock has to land it, but the landing gear is out. So the helper comes down and lifts up the X1. His little office chair bottom acting as the landing gear. Sweet.
His screams as he is ground down to a stump.
They're Star Wars screams. They're R2-D2 screams.
Yeah,
that they put in there. So somebody has to get somebody's shitty haircut.
Yeah. And Hair Trigger is giggling over his kill, obviously like finishing. He's in the afterglow. But then the ejector seat from the X1 lands on top of him, pancaking him.
Yeah, he got pancaked by a drunk dump truck bodyguard. We cut over to the Monarch. If there's one thing I don't love about this episode is that like all the Monarch stuff is kind of a pacing killer.
Yeah.
In it, like we spend a little bit too much time with it, I think.
Yeah.
So we just let him walking around trying to find Dr. Venture. Dr. Venture, hello, where is everybody? The Moppets open up one of the learning beds and start stabbing. They're going to disobey the orders, kind of foreshadowing the shitty thing they do at the end of this episode. They end up stabbing Mr. Ricci, the giraffe. Like, what would a teenager do with a stuffed animal? And he's like, I know what I'd do with him. Me too.
Yeah. Cool. You fucked him. Cool.
Yeah. I never fucked a stuffed animal. My understanding is that is sometimes a lady thing.
Yeah, that has been a thing with ladies that I've known.
Yes. The very good TV show Pen 15, which I recommend, has a really good little subplot about a masturbation stuffed animal.
Yeah.
So, one of my favorite scene of the Monarch downtime stuff is Dr. Mrs. the Monarch on Brock's bed, just kind of like adjusting her posture and muttering to herself.
Yep.
I love those little in-between moments. Like, somebody's got, whenever you walk in and somebody's on your bed waiting to seduce you, like they do have to wait for you.
Yeah. Like they've been there the whole time. Like, she's not doing what 24 is, which, playing Tetris, but she would absolutely be playing Tetris if she was killing time there. Phone. Yeah.
Yeah. 21 tries to go to the bathroom, but Sergeant Hatred is inside.
Yes.
Which is going to set up that subplot.
He's crying. Like he's in there sobbing. So one of the three assassins is down. We're going to get to the second one. Brock has led the family, they're back together, of course, to this marina. It's daytime. And there's this boat that is docked there that is the Action Bible School. And it's going to be meeting as an old friend who got kicked out of the OSI on a don't ask, don't tell beef. Which I love Dean's response. So we know he can keep a secret.
It's very good.
Yeah.
This is Shore Leave, who has a different code name now. He goes by Holy Diver. And Mile High comes out who now goes by Sky Pilot,
Yeah.
God has removed their homosexuality. So now they run this action youth ministry
Yeah.
that is specifically Bible Man.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, do you know Bible Man? We talked about Bible Man.
Oh, we've talked about Bible Man. I am down for a Bible Man poll. I never like Bible Man was not part of my young Christian education. That was a little bit after my time. I was more of a McGee and me guy.
Sure.
but I like, going to the Bookery, which is a Christian bookstore chain here in the Midwest, and like, picking up a gift for, a religious teacher or friend or whatever, a family friend, and just seeing all the Bible Man like party gear that they had. Very funny to me. Bible Man's good.
When me and my friends found Bible Man at first in like a Salvation Army or something, it was a real mind blow for us. Bible Man is a Christian superhero.
Yeah.
That is kind of has to be seen to be believed, and they just do it exactly here. There's a 1-to-1 parody of it. It's not even really a parody; it's just represented with these characters.
Yeah. Jackson's history as an evangelical, growing up in the evangelical church, is on full display here.
Brock is here to ask, hey, can we charter your boat or get some supplies? But they're not in the killing business; they're in the saving business. And luckily, since the fact that they're in water, it's Go Fish's time to shine.
Yep.
And throws a grenade attached to a fishing line out, pulls the pin on it, and knocks Brock off, and then shoots a frog on a little line, a robotic frog that entangles Brock.
Yes.
And pulls him out to sea.
So he's being dragged, and Sky Pilot and Holy Diver, they gotta step up. Action is afoot. They have to save their friend. They're not just pastors; they are the Christian, I guess, superhero duo, the Soulmates.
The Soulmates.
Yeah.
I love Sky Pilot's voice so much.
Uh-huh.
We're the Soulmates. So he's doing and they just do the Bible Man thing.
Yeah, they activate
the Ephesian sequence.
I love the Ephesians sequence. It's so good. And just like the very long, arduous process of putting on the Holy Diver's Bible Man armor.
It's so ridiculous. And the only difference between this and regular Bible Man is this is more revealing. Because Shore Leave is wearing it.
Yeah.
God, I cannot wait to spend tons of time with Shore Leave next season. I love Shore Leave so much. Boom, Brocodile. It's so good.
Oh man. So Go Fish is dragging Brock behind his boat, and he figures, hey, let's have some sharks do the dirty work. He's throwing out chum, drawing some sharks around to Brock. Do you buy chum? Do you make it yourself? Do you have a fish grinder? How do you get chum?
So you buy chum.
Chum?
They sell it in bait shops. I've seen it for sale back in the day, like when I would go to, like, my grandparents had a cabin.
Okay.
That I went to, like, when I was like very young, so not very strong memories of this, but we could go fishing and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, that's how I learned about chum.
Gotcha.
Was like seeing it and being like, what's that? And then my grandpa teaching me what chum was.
Yeah.
Like holding my head under it. And then not letting me come up until I come up with fish skeletons, 5 of them.
Yeah.
One for each year that I've been alive.
He called you little Heathcliff.
Yeah.
But not like in an
if I
affectionate
did,
way, just like really screamed at you.
Yeah, no, like Heathcliff from Wuthering Heights, not Heathcliff the cat. My grandpa, odd man. No, but I remember they do sell it in bait shops.
Yes.
Like where you can go to that worm jail.
I love
the frozen worm cryo storage that they have to live in.
Because of where I live, like most of the pharmacy, grocery store kind of things also sell bait. So just
you never know when you're going to go fishing.
You never know when you just need
item.
We never know when you're going to need night crawlers, right?
Yeah. Midwest is disgusting. I love it because I come from there, but boy, it's a lot of gross. Just the cryogenic worm present is a pretty gross feature of most stores.
Yeah.
Like open up and there's like writhing. Like,
yeah, it is just kind of like right next to the candy bars. Yeah,
it's so mean.
Yeah.
Like what we do to worms is one of the worst things.
There's we owe everything to worms. Come on.
Yeah, their win condition is that they get to be like basically thrown to the lions in like a Roman arena, except that they have to lose.
Yeah.
There's no gladiator worm who actually like comes, kicks the fish's ass. you know? Yeah, worms, man. What
Worms.
a life.
So, Holy Diver and Sky Pilot, you know, they have all this delay, and they delay even further before they go to attack because they've got to stop to pray. You know, it's like, what the hell are you doing?
They're not going to attack. They're just going to pray.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I thought that they.
Instead.
Oh, okay, yeah. So they pray. I thought it was just like a delay or whatever. You know, they say, "Oh, the power of prayer can move mountains." Hank. I love Rusty saying it's worse than calling Orpheus because it kind of is the same.
It's kind of Orpheus's only little appearance.
Yeah,
is mentioned in this.
Yeah.
So Brock has been underwater for a while, and it looks like he emerges in this pool of blood. But it turns out Brock Samson has lost his hair.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that this is part of his important turning point. You know, the symbolism is very obvious.
Of course.
You know, he's taken his hair and taken off his shirt to make a decoy. The Go Fish speeds towards. Brock is on this buoy, and he draws this tension wire, a fishing line that cuts off Go Fish's head.
Yep. It takes off his head like Kirk Van Houten's arm when he is very angry that they got his taco order wrong. Yeah.
Sandwich. I wish someone would come cut the sandwich.
Oh yeah. But Brock, you know, takes Go Fish's hat and puts it on, and then Brock, I like this, is you know, oh God, the Lord, the strength of my salvation, thou hast covered my head in the day of battle, like doing his own. I'm kind of a sucker for the for the badass Bible citation after doing something cool, you know, like maybe that's the Pulp Fiction in me, but yeah,
Pulp Fiction and your religious upbringing.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I mean, it's drawing attention to the Samson allegory.
Yes. Yep.
You know, he's always been a biblical character. Samson, that one superhero based on hair. The hair superhero, like Medusa from the Inhumans. Back at the compound, we're getting the Sergeant Hatred subplot, sitting on the toilet with a big America star, censoring his junk.
Yep. You get to see it in the commentary version. You get to see Hatred's hog.
Yeah, no, I did not watch The Hog. I ended up watching it on Hulu because they want to get up and put it in the DVD because this has been a hell of a fucking week. And I was like, that's too much work. I can't do that.
I don't think he's allowed to do that.
But he's upset because Princess Tiny Feet is leaving him. We don't see any of this. This just all happened like instead of him arching this season.
His marriage is falling apart. And, you know, he needed to, like everybody's called in. You know, to just this drunk sobbing man. He's also fallen off the wagon. And, you know, the reason he believes this, you know, he asks, you know, Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch, shows her like, oh, I got this text saying we need to talk. Like, what does this mean? Is it bad? Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch says like, no, actually there's no other interpretation of that. That's kind of always what that means. So
as the, you know, the defender of Sergeant Hatred, like there's a bunch of great little bits in this, like it's a huge phone, he's like, I'm a big boy. Just like really, you know, again, I love that voice performance so much.
But part of, you know, so it's Hatred isn't just here like to, you know, to cry. He also is frustrated that Rusty isn't around. He's here to commit suicide by arch enemy. He doesn't want to live anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't even want to be around anymore. 21 is outside. I thought he said this the warrior thing when the Monarch is like, you still haven't peed yet? What are you, a camel? And that's where he's like, I, like Patty Smythe before me, am the warrior. Referencing the Patty Smythe song, I Am the Warrior.
Good song.
Real kick in the pants for people who are way into Patti Smith. Like you go to the record section, you might get tricked by Patty Smythe at any given time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I did different thing.
Yeah. They spell but not pronounce their names differently.
So we have one. We're going to leave this, and it's not going to be addressed until the next episode, until part 2, because we have to deal with the third of our assassins, Latour.
Yep. Rock takes Rusty and the kids to a shitty hotel to lay low for a couple days. He's got his hilarious like Pulp Fiction, dressed like a couple assholes, his Brisbane shirts. Shorts. He's gonna take a shower. Rusty calls it because he's a huge dick.
So
Brock goes to get supplies. Rusty wants conditioner for his beard.
I mean, so I need to dwell on Brock's outfit just a little bit more. He's got the Brisbane shirt. The pants that he's wearing, juicy couture pants.
We borrowed them from Shore Leave.
Yeah.
like not to bonfireside chat it, but those are 100% from Shore Leave.
Oh yeah,
that's
100%.
Right
it's
there.
Very good.
Yeah.
But Brock has gone away, and Hank is outside, and he is over the moon because another guest at the hotel has a Batman beach towel.
Yes.
And it's Latour, and they're geeking out about Batman. Latour loves Batman, Silver Age comic kind of stuff. Hank's line, "Dude, you are almost speaking my language." Like,
Hank is great in this.
Yeah.
He's like, when I was your age, I would put on the cape and pretend to be Batman. He goes, dude, when I was my age?
Yeah.
Which I love, when I was my age. I jumped off my roof dressed as Batman.
I think I might have just dreamt it, which is like a bit of a deep cut, but like that's one of the ways one of the clones died. So how he remembers that.
Ways, how he remembers it though. Like the fact that's the way one of the clones died, that's that's clearly what they're doing. But he can remember things that his past versions died from. Yeah. Hold up.
Wait a minute. That might have just been a nightmare. Oh God, I love that trauma is like sticking around. Yeah. I don't even care that it doesn't make sense.
Brock walks up, and Hank, get away from that man. And he runs after him while Latour runs to go get his Craven outfit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It comes out of nowhere. Like, I'll admit, I'm not the comics person on this show. I didn't know who Craven the Hunter was, so I didn't get the reference. And they never made any mention of like rare game or anything like that, or hunting big game. So when he comes out in the outfit that is like nothing but animal parts, like just dressed up like Mr. Burns in the See My Vest musical routine, is loafers or former chauffeurs, right? But I didn't get it at first.
Yeah, it's based very explicitly on him. If you don't know Craven the Hunter from that, you might know him from the Letterman performance of A Freak Like Me Needs Company, where he comes out with the gigantic, weird animatronic lion chest. It's very strange. So he throws a boomerang, hits them, pushes them through the window where Dean has just been sitting on the bed while Rusty is in the bath. We're getting some intercut.
Yeah.
Real shticky. Keep it down out there. Like that could have been in like, Mr. and Mrs. Smith or something.
Yeah. Turn the TV down instead of 10. I needed it at 3. Yeah.
This is why Daddy drinks. Like, it's real straight putts.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think this episode is, again, great for jokes. I just like the action.
Yeah.
Specifically, even Latour is strangling Brock on the bed, and they have a little flashback here where Sky Pilot shows up as like, the only weapon you'll need, the Bible. And Dean opens it so he can use the Bible to get the upper hand.
Yes.
Defend himself.
Yeah. So like Brock hits him. And Latour puts Brock's head through the TV, which another gross point blank thing. I had forgotten about that particular beat when I made that reference at the start, but a head goes through a TV and gross point blank.
Good to know.
Yeah. But Latour, pulls out his katana and he goes into, the whole history of how it was made. And I love Brock's reaction to this. So why do you sword guys always got to talk about how cool your swords are? Like,
it's great.
It's antithetical to everything that he is. Like, all I need is my K-bar. It's a knife.
Well, there's a great little parallel there with Brock being sick of his genre and Rusty being sick of his genre.
Mm-hmm.
They both do not care about the the
trappings,
the tropes. Yeah, they're dealing with. Latour starts slashing around, slashes off Brock's nipple. Horrifying. Boy, nipple pain. And Latour eventually knocks Brock out with the minibar, goes to finish the job, and Hank stops him. Like, you call yourself a Batman fan, Batman would never kill. And Hank, I had to confess, I only like Batman because he has the best villains. And this is great. He draws the knife, but Brock has gotten the sword from under the bed and just bisects him here. And the boys' reaction to this, like just their faces, is really good.
Well, it's horrifying. It is done very graphically. Just Latour being cut in half the hard way.
Yeah, very good.
And Brock thanks the boys for their assistance, and then he just like slaps his nipple back on like it's a fucking decal.
Yeah, I'm glad it doesn't stay. Yeah, I'm glad it falls off because nipple horror is real to me. And so we're gonna end our episode. Brock, thanks the boys and says like, "Hey, make yourself useful. Here's this little black book. Call somebody named the cleaner and say we got Damien Hirst in room 202."
That is such a deep cut. Yeah. Or I mean, Damien Hirst. So you think it's a Patty Hearst kind of thing?
The Damien Hirst is an artist.
Yeah. Okay. So you said dark reference. Okay. Damien Hirst.
It's just the blood splatter. Like it's just comparing the man's life to Damien Hirst.
Yeah. Damien Hirst, actual exhibits where he's got like bisected animals and stuff. It is a very deep, very specific cut that has Doc Hammer's fingerprints all over it.
Oh, 100%. I love, him dragging the body into the bathroom and Rusty getting up and coming out and vomiting. Very funny.
Yeah. But someone's pounding on the door, and these two FBI agents rush in, or LAPD detectives, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're in California because the Latour was going to go to Batman the Ride after he finishes his, after his job.
Yeah. And out on the highway, we see Helper is still holding up the front of the X1. Nobody relieved him of that duty. And the cocoon flies overhead as we get the to be continued text.
Yeah. And that's the end of the episode. The next episode is going to be a lot more plotty, a little, more complicated, like more coincidence based.
Yeah.
In a way that is not my favorite, but there's still lots of good stuff. Anything that introduces or like brings Tracer into the equation.
Yeah.
One of my favorite characters in the show.
I mean, just what a hero that voice actor is.
Yeah, a command voice performance.
Toby Huss,
just one of the all-time best. Yeah, just absolutely incredible stuff. And as you can hear that sound there, it's my cue to exit because Pocket is losing his mind for no good reason. It's just, hey, cats.
He just wants attention.
Yeah. I got to go look at him until he stops and he goes to sleep. He really kind of catfishes me.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to being catfished here.
Yeah.
Talking about the finale next week.
Yeah. I don't have too much more to say about this one. I think that the reflections are going to come after what happens next week. Yeah.
Lots of fun action.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate as somebody who watches the show for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
We will be back. If you like the show, head on over to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv. We would appreciate that quite a bit. You can also leave us ratings, reviews on Apple Podcast or Podcast Addict or wherever podcasts are found.
Yeah. If you have any friends who like the Venture Brothers, or if you are getting new people into the series, to tell your friends about us. Yeah.
It is an appreciated action that you can do. And until next time,
go Team Venture.